Hi, 600. Today we are going to learn the zoology topic, body movements. This body movements, as we all know, we have different activities like jumping, running, walking, going from place to place, shaking our hands, saying hi to our friend, good morning to our friend, hello to our friends. Like the different activities we are doing. Normally, these are coming under the word group as movement. At the same time, we have another term called locomotion. Locomotion is the movement of body parts from one place to another. Normally, animals will move from place to place, and that movement is taking place by the animals with the help of different body parts. Whereas locomotion in animal plants, it is not that much possible because it has no special locomotory organs. It will just show movements of the body parts as leaves move and branches of the stem will move due to heavy wind or light air, and as it goes it shows some movement. So plants will not have special locomotory parts, whereas animals will move from place to place, and that movement is called locomotion, and that locomotion is done in search of food and shelter. So we come across the term locomotion and movements. Now this movement in different animals, as we are saying, first one I am talking about the lowermost group of animals. First one is amoeba, lowermost unicellular animal having indefinite shape like this, and this is called pseudopodia. The projection is called pseudopodia. With the help of pseudopodia, the amoeba will move from one place to another. But here in amoeba, the movement is very slow only. It cannot run. It will move slowly by put forthing the pseudopodia. Second one is hydra. This is the structure of hydra, where it is having a locomotory organ. The movement part is called locomotory organ called tentacles. With the help of tentacles, it moves, and also it is helpful in capturing the prey in food. Third one is earthworm, where it moves with the help of body setae. This is a structure of setae where it has bristle-like structure. Bristle na chinna mudi tutti irukkulla andha maadhiri. Bristle-like structure is called body setae. And fourth one is cockroach or any other insects. As we all know, cockroach we are familiar, isn't it? So here cockroach moves with 3 pairs of legs. 3 pairs, 1, 2, 3. 3 pairs of legs and 2 pairs of wings. Here, this is one wing, this is one wing, it is folded. 2 pairs of wings. So cockroach moves with the help of 3 pairs of legs and 2 pairs of wings. Another one we call as molluscan, nattai. That is called nattai. It is moving with the help of muscular foot. Now these are the locomotory organs present in the lower organisms. Whereas in higher animals, as we know, fish move with the help of moves with the help of fins. Frog moves with the help of limbs, upper limb and lower limb, and birds with the help of feathers. Now these are the higher animals. Other than these higher animals, we are going to talk about the skeletal system in human, which is doing a major locomotory portion. Now the skeletal system in human, 1 minute. The skeletal system along with the muscular system, these both are coordinating the locomotion. Skeletal system and muscular system will coordinate the the movement in a human being. Now the human being again, the skeleton, there are 206 bones. Now this 206 bones, they are categorized into different types. Normally this skeletal system, it is as axial skeleton and appendicular skeleton. Axial skeleton and appendicular skeleton. Now this appendicular skeleton as having upper limb and the lower limb, whereas axial skeleton include skull, rib cage and vertebral column. Appendicular skeleton include upper limb and lower limb. Now first we will see about the skull. Skull is formed of 22 bones, as 8 bones in the skull region and 14 bones in the facial region. And these 8 bones, they are as frontal, temporal, parietal and occipital. Whereas 14 facial bones, they are as eye orbit, ear bone, nasal bone, cheek bone, upper jaw and lower jaw. So facial bones, there are 14 in numbers, whereas skull has 8 bones. Totally there are 22 bones in the skull. Now when we come to the rib cage, this is a structure of a rib. There are 12 pairs of ribs. Now these 12 pairs, they are as 1 to 7 pairs. They are attached to the center sword-like structure, dagger bone, that is called sternum. So 1 to 7 bones, they are attached to the sternum, and 8, 9, 10 bones, they are fused and then attached to the sternum. So they are called false ribs. And 11th and 12th ribs, they are just floating, they are not attached to the sternum. So this is known as floating ribs. So I repeat, rib cage, it is formed of 12 pairs of ribs. 1 to 7 pairs, they are true ribs attached to the dagger bone sternum, and 8, 9, 10, they are called false ribs, they are indirectly attached to the sternum, and 11th and 12th ribs, they are floating ribs. Now this is vertebral column, where it is, in human, it is a S-shaped structure and it is formed of 33 vertebrae. The 33 vertebrae, I will explain single vertebra next. Now they are as cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral and coccygeal. These are the vertebral column where it is portioned. This is the vertebral column. Right? Now, this vertebral column, here, I again once more I say this skull, one detail I have to give you as now here skull formed of first frontal, temporal, parietal and occipital. There are 4 functional bones: frontal, temporal, parietal and occipital bones. Frontal will be forehead portion, temporal and parietal at the top of the skull and lateral side, back of the skull, and occipital will be, occipital will be at the lateral portion of the skull. So 4 bones of the functional area of the skull are frontal, temporal, parietal and occipital. Now these 4 bones of the skull, they are immovable except the lower jaw. except the lower jaw, the skull bones are immovable. And coming to rib cage, there are 1 to 7 pairs true ribs. I am repeating. And 8 to 10 they are false ribs. And 11 and 12 they are floating ribs. Now these floating ribs, they are not attached to the sternum. Now in rib cage, it is covering it is protecting the most vital internal organ as heart and the lungs. Heart and lungs, they are protected by the rib cage. Now the vertebra, there are 33 vertebrae in the human body, and this single vertebra will have a structure like this. These three are transverse processes. This one is the transcentral process, and the center one is the centrum. Now this top center portion, that is the transverse process. Center, the protecting one is the processors. So this is forming the structure of typical vertebra. Now come to appendicular skeleton. Now this appendicular skeleton, first one is pectoral girdle and bones of the upper limb. The pectoral girdle, it is having a collarbone. It is a collarbone, otherwise called a clavicle. And then is the flat bone called the scapula. And here it will be forming a cavity that is known as glenoid cavity. In the glenoid cavity, the upper arm, the long bone is fitting into the glenoid cavity. That upper arm is called humerus. Following that is the two small bone, the medium-sized bone as radius and ulna. I am talking about the upper arm, as this is humerus, otherwise called forearm, and then two bones as radius and ulna. Followed by that is there are small 8 bones called wrist or carpals. Wrist are the carpals. And following that is the palm. There are 5 bones. Now these 5 bones having phalanges. Now this phalanges, again, this is palm, this is phalanges. This palm is also known as metacarpals. So now here, I repeat, this upper arm having a collarbone, otherwise called clavicle, and then a flat bone called scapula, and fitting into that is the glenoid cavity, where the forearm is fitting into that. That forearm is called humerus, and following that is the one more again. Forearm is, upper arm is humerus. Labeling is not. This is forearm, and then carpals and metacarpal. So we say upper arm or humerus, forearm or with the radius and ulna, then wrist or carpals, palm or metacarpals, and then phalanges. Now this head of the humerus is fitting into the glenoid cavity. And following that is the radius and ulna. Now I am showing here, this is our forearm, upper arm, and that this is called multicellular oligomeric process, and this is our forearm. Now this forearm is formed of two bones, radius and ulna. Now this radius and ulna, when you stretch your hand, it will remain parallel to each other. When you fold your hand, it will overlap. That is the forearm, radius and ulna. Now this wrist portion, there are 8 bones formed of 4 in 2 rows. And following that, wrist is also known as carpals. Then palm formed of 5 bone, they are also called metacarpals. Following that is the phalanges. Now the phalanges, they are as 14 bones, as can you see 2 lines here, 1, 2, 3. So 4 3s are 12 plus 2. Thumb has only 2 bones, so there are 14 bones in the phalanges. Now this phalanges here, what I am drawing here, which one will be the thumb portion? What I have drawn, which arm I have drawn? Up. Right or left? What can I say? This is a, say here, where is the thumb portion? There are only 2, is it not? So this is a right arm we have drawn. I hope you are following. So this is a thumb, 2, here 1, 2, 3, sorry, here 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So totally there are 14 bones in the phalanges. I hope you are clear with the bones of the upper arm. Otherwise, bones of the upper leg. Pelvic girdle, we come across only 2 bones, collarbone or clavicle and scapula. This is a collarbone. This is a collarbone and this is a flat portion, scapula. Now the scapula, here also at the back we have supporting, and this is a glenoid cavity where it is fitting into that. Same way here also the lower limb, this is a pelvic girdle, where this is a pelvic girdle, pelvis. It is formed of hip bones. Following that is there are 2 legs. Now these 2 legs, the longest bone in the body is the femur, otherwise called thigh region. Now the femur is similar to that of humerus. Following that is the tibia and fibula, again similar to radius and ulna. We have oligomeric process muttu. Same way here, kaalayum nalla muttu irukum. Adu peru knee. That region is patella, knee region. Following that, tibia, fibula, then ankle, and that will have the toe, 5 fingers. In our hand we have 14 bones, whereas it is not so in our leg. There are only 5 fingers. So first one is the toe, remaining 4 fingers. So that is bones of the lower limb, pelvic girdle and bones of the legs. I hope you are able to follow this. So now here that the thigh bone, femur, and then we come across tibia, fibula, then ankle. These are the new term we are understanding. I hope you have understood the lesson. We will continue in the next class.